Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Satya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam online classes in science. I hope all of you are fresh. You have taken your breakfast, a lunch, and you are very energetic, right? Have a paper and pen, note down the things also. Very happy. Now you are coming to the last part of this chapter called atomic structure. As all of you know, the whole universe is made up of atoms, small particles called as atoms. And it was John Dalton who gave a theory, and it is very world famous as John Dalton's atomic theory. According to Dalton, atoms are indivisible. But the scientists who came after him, like Thomson, Rutherford, etc., they said atoms are divisible. And the first discovery was made with that of electrons. And the experiment is called cathode ray experiment. A stream of particles will move from cathode to anode, and that is also called as cathode ray experiment. And the electrons were discovered by J. Thomson. Okay, after him, the next discovery was about anode rays, because after discovering the negatively charged particles, there was a curiosity aroused, and the curiosity has led to discovery of positive rays, also called as anode rays. Just like the cathode ray tube, anode ray tube was discovered, and there the particles were made to move from anode to cathode, and their property was discussed. And it was Rutherford and his disciples who are the pioneers in this field, and they said that as we have electrons, there will be some positively charged particles also, and they are known as anode rays. So that was the next discovery, and that experiment, the famous experiment, was taking out alpha ray scattering experiment. Alpha rays are one of the rays that are emitted by the radioactive substances like uranium, thorium, etc. They emit a special kind of emission spontaneously, like alpha, beta and gamma, out of which alpha rays are separated, and that was taken for this experiment, wherein it was made to fall into a thin gold foil. And Rutherford and his disciples like Goldstein and others, they made a lot of experiments on this. They found that most of the rays went straight, which they announced that in an atom most of the space is empty. Some of the rays got deviated, which show the presence of the heavy nucleus present in atom, and some of the rays got recoiled back. That is, when they hit against the nucleus, they recoiled back. So that was the experimental results which led on to the discovery of protons. And then came, after discovering about plus and minus, there was another challenge, and that was how the neutrons were discovered and neutrons were discovered by James Chadwick, taking beryllium, bombarding beryllium nucleus with the alpha rays. And Niels Bohr, a disciple of Rutherford, also stated that electrons will be going around the nucleus, and they have got some energy levels. They will move with what is called as electrostatic force, and hence Niels Bohr's model of an atom is discovered, and he made different shells like K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, etc. They are the shells, also called as energy levels, also called as orbits. These are things already you have studied. So here there is a formula. Niels Bohr gave a very important formula like 2n square. So these are the things you already studied in the previous classes. Now also we have ended our discussion about discussing about atomic number and mass number. Atomic number is denoted by the symbol Z, mass number is denoted by the symbol A. Suppose you want to write a represent element called X. Here you must write A on the top, Z on the bottom. A stands for atomic mass, Z stands for atomic number. What do you mean atomic number? Atomic number is the number of electrons or number of protons present in an atom of an element, denoted by the symbol Z. And what is atomic mass? Atomic mass is the sum of the protons and neutrons. And suppose you call the protons as Z, an atomic number, N is the number of neutrons. If you add those two, you get atomic mass. For example, in sodium atom you have 11 protons and 12 neutrons. So its mass number becomes 23. So 23 means sum of protons and neutrons. Here in case of sodium, number of protons is 11, number of neutrons is 12, and hence atomic mass becomes 23. This is also one of the important things we studied in the previous class. Okay, now let us see some home assignments. The first one, first question, a sodium atom has an atomic number 11 and mass number 23. Calculate, these are called subatomic particles, namely protons, neutrons and electrons. And where are they situated? Protons and neutrons are situated at the center, and electrons will be going around the center or nucleus, right? So in this question, atomic number is given, that is 11. When you say atomic number is 11, it means number of protons is 11 and number of electrons also is 11, because they are both same. That is why an atom is said to be electrically neutral, because number of protons is equal to number of electrons. What about neutrons? They can be found out by the formula just now which I have discussed, A is equal to Z plus N. Now you want N, so Z must be brought this side, A minus Z. So A is how much? 23, Z is 11, 23 minus 11 becomes 12. So that is the number of neutrons. That is the answer for the first question. Number of protons. What is the charge of protons? Protons are plus in charge, electrons minus, neutrons no charge. So in the exam you may expect a question, differentiate between the properties of electrons, protons and neutrons. So this is the one answer for the first question. Coming to second question, see, this guy is writing answer for the question. What is he writing? What is the mass number of an atom of an element which has 7 protons and 8 neutrons? Answer is mass number A is equal to Z plus N. 7 plus 8, that is 15. Okay, that is the answer for the second question. Coming to third question, identify the following subatomic particles. What do we subatomic particles? Protons, neutrons and electrons. You must identify. The first question is number of these particles in the nucleus equal to atomic number. The first question. Second question, particle that is not found in the nucleus. Third, particle that has no electrical charge. Fourth, the particle that has a much lower mass than the others subatomic particles. So answer for the first question is, see, first question is number of particles in nucleus equal to atomic number. They are nothing but protons. But this is present in the nucleus. That is important point. Second one, particle is not found in the nucleus. Not found means electrons. What do they do? They will be going around the nucleus in fixed elliptical orbits. And third question, the particle that has no electrical charge, they are nothing but neutrons. The particle that has a much lower mass than the others. Lower mass means electrons. Their mass is almost very less. Compared to proton is about 1850, 1 by 1850 times that of proton. So less. And therefore this is the least mass this have got, which you already studied in the previous class. Okay. Now for today we will discuss some of the topics. The sir has come to the class now with a stick. He is going to show, is it not? So electronic configuration. So configuration means arrangement. Electrons move in definite paths called orbits or shells around a central nucleus. These orbits have different energy levels and can accommodate different number of electrons in them. According to Niels Bohr theory, the electron distribution is governed by the following rules. So there is some rules for this, how to arrange. Other day I was telling about how the boys or girls are made to sit in the different benches. Some arrangement, maybe height wise, maybe like this. So first like that also in Niels Bohr he has made some arrangement. First one, the orbits or shells in an atom are represented by the letters K, L, M, N. Yeah, also O, P, Q also is there. Seventh, up to 7 shells. are the positive integral numbers. N equals 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Actually, it goes up to 7, 5, 6, 7. Up to that it will be there. So, that is the first rule. Okay. Second rule, orbits are arranged in the order of increasing order of energy levels. Increasing energy means what? Energy of L shell is more than that of K. So, here it means energy of Q shell is more than that of P, more than that of O, more than that of N, more than that of M. L, like that, and lastly you have K. So, energy level will be increasing. So, energy, so as you, this is the least energy, first shell, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So, these are what called energy levels. So, that is the increasing order means what? First you must write fast K. When the K is filled up, you must go to L. Then when it is filled up, you must go to L, like that. And third rule, maximum number of electrons present in a shell given by the formula 2n square. Very, very important. Where n represents the number of orbit, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., up to 7. So, apply that 1 here, 2n square. So, the first shell will have 2 electrons. Then second shell will be 2 into first shell, 1 square, that is 2. It is K shell. Coming to L shell, 2 into, in place of N you write 2. So, that will be 8. In case of M, 2 into 3 square, 9 into 2 becomes 18, like that it goes. N shell will have 2 into 4 square, that is 32. Okay, then comes 50, then comes 72, like that, 6th shell. 7th shell will be 98. That is a maximum number of electrons. Please note that word. And here use the formula 2n square. What is that n? It represents the number of the orbit. The shells are occupied in the increasing order of their energies. So, electrons are not accommodated in a given shell unless the inner shells are completely filled. Means, first you must fill up the first shell. Then only you have to go to second shell. Then only after filling second you have to go to third shell, like that. So, you must accommodate electrons, by filling up the previous shells. So, these are the different rules. So, just now I am showing you here, K shell will have 2, L shell will have 8, M shell will have 18, 32. How you got this formula? How you got this? By using the formula 2n square. Okay, that's just I have shown it now. So, like that, this is a shell name and maximum capacity of the electrons. So, electron accommodation capacity of different shells. Okay, now coming to arrangement of electrons. So, one professor has come now here. He is just showing you how to write it. So, look at him. He is showing you something special. Arrangement of electrons in the various shells of an atom of the element is called electronic configuration. For example, hydrogen has only one electron, the only one element without neutron. Please note, Here there is only one proton, one electron, but no neutrons. So its configuration write it as 1. Because only one electron is there, that will be going around the nucleus. Nucleon has only one particle, namely protons, but no neutrons. Coming to lithium, it has got 3 electrons. So the first 2 electrons will be filled in the first shell called K shell. After filling the first shell, it go to the second shell, namely L shell, that will be 1 electron. So configuration becomes 2 and 1. 2 in the first shell, 1 in the second shell. That is what is called as electronic configuration. Arrangement of electrons in different shells. Okay, so now you can see a beautiful figure. See, hydrogen, this is the nucleus. This is what is called as the atomic structure, how the electrons are distributed. You have to practice by writing, okay. See, hydrogen has only 1 electron. It is a nucleus. So this hydrogen, in hydrogen, an electron will be going around. In helium, there are 2 electrons that will be going around. There is only one shell. That's why they are put in the first period. Coming to second period, you have 2 shells here. First is K, 2 plus 1. So configuration is 2 and 1. Beryllium, first shell 2, second shell 2. Boron, first shell 2, second shell 3. Carbon, first shell 2, second shell 4. Like that. So all here first fill up the first shell, then go to next shell. This is all about the second period. Coming to third period. Here sodium atomic number is 11. First shell 2, second shell 8, third shell 1. What is first shell called? K. Second shell called L. Third shell called M. And what is the center here? Nothing but nucleus. So that is how all this have 3 shells. Coming to last one here, argon. These are all called inert gases, also called as, they are coming to the last group, noble gases, because they don't react with any of the elements. Here configuration becomes first shell 2, second shell 8, third shell also 8. 2, 8, 8. That is the electronic configuration of first 18 elements. This is very important for the periodic table. Okay, we are going to study that later. And now you are coming to a very important point called as valence or valency. We have just discussed the electronic configuration of first 18 elements. We can see that different elements have different number of electrons in the outermost or valence shell. So all these elements what you have studied now have different number of electrons. Means in sodium configuration is 2, 8, 1. Next comes magnesium, 2, 8, 2. Like that. That is the meaning of this statement. So, and coming to argon, last one, 2, 8, 8. So, these are the what is called as outermost shells, outermost orbits, outermost energy levels. Okay. So, that is the meaning of this statement. Here the electrons in the outermost orbit is called as valence electrons, and that decides the valency. Electrons in the outermost shell are known as valence electrons, and number of valence electrons determine the combining capacity of an atom of an element. What is the combined capacity? Suppose we keep one competition, say eating of chapati. All if you are interested, is it? Or roti, if it is North Karnataka, you get roti. Is not? Some competition is kept, and of course some entrance fees also must be kept. Otherwise, loss company will be loss. So when they start doing competition, the boys or girls, whoever it is, start eating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some will eat slowly. We have done it actually for chapati competition. We have done it here, Mudinali. And some will eat slowly because they don't want praise. They want to eat nicely. Something like 6 to 7 they eat off chapati. And that is the capacity of them. What I mean to say is that is the capacity of eating chapati. Similarly, suppose running race is kept. All cannot become first. Mr. X will become first or Y also. Then second will be somebody, third, like that. There will be somebody who is coming last because their capacity is like that. They cannot run fast. They will not be so fast. So that is called, similarly elements also, they have got their own capacity of holding the electrons. And these electrons in the outermost are called as valence electrons. And this combining capacity of an element is called as valency. Okay. And this valency is calculated. Valence means number of chemical bonds that an atom can form with the univalent atoms. Hydrogen is a univalent atom, means only one electron. So the valence of an element can be taken by the number of atoms of hydrogen with one atom of element to combine. For example, suppose you take HCl. The valency of hydrogen is known. How much? 1. So valency of chlorine also becomes 1. Why it is 1? Because it combines with one atom of hydrogen. In case of water, oxygen combines with how many? 2 atoms of hydrogen. So we say valency of oxygen is 2. And in case of ammonia, 1 atom of nitrogen combines with 3 atoms. We say valency of nitrogen is 3. In case of methane, 1 atom of carbon combines with 4 atoms of hydrogen, and therefore we say carbon valency is 4. So here the valency of different elements is decided by the number of hydrogen atom it combines. Then you may ask, suppose if it does not react with hydrogen, what is the solution? Then you must take chlorine. Some of the elements will combine with chlorine. For example, calcium, if you say, valency of calcium is 2 because it combines with chlorine atoms. Is it not? So suppose you take iron, it combines with 3 atoms of chlorine. Therefore, valency of iron is 3. Like that. So different, even sometimes we take oxygen into consideration. We know the oxygen atom has valency is 2. Taking oxygen into consideration, we will decide the valencies of different elements. Okay. So this is one of the ways of representing the valencies. The combining capacity or valency of an inert gases, helium, argon, neon, krypton, xenon, etc. They are called inert gases. Argon, neon is Ne, xenon is Xe, etc. etc. Their valency is 0 because they have completely filled up electrons. In hydrogen we have only one shell having 2 electrons. Here it is 2 and 8. Like that, 2, 8, 8 are gone. This is 2 and 8. Like that it continues. So they have completely filled up. There is no vacancy for other elements to combine with it. That's why we say they are inert gases, also called as noble gases. Hence we say the valency of inert gases is 0. It neither gives out electron nor takes in electron. See, all of us have to develop a habit of giving something. That giving to others, giving joy to others. Suppose you have 2 pens. Your friend wants one of the pens to write an exam. You may just offer it. That gives you joy. Suppose you have 2 chocolates. You can share with others. Is it not? For example, in birthdays, what do? You share with others. Not compulsory. Those who can afford can share with others. The sharing will give you a lot of joy and peace, right? So, here when you say the valency of sodium is 1, means it is ready to give out 1 electron. They are called electropositive elements. Suppose you want to give, there must be somebody to take, na? Only if somebody takes, only you can give. Suppose there is nobody to take, what do you give? There is no use, right? So, this give and take policy comes. How much it comes, to what extent? That is called octet rule. Having 8 electrons, like that of inert gases, you have, this is what is called octet roots. So, the main group of elements can have a maximum of 8 electrons in a valence shell. That is called as octet rule. Valency of elements can be calculated from the electronic configuration by the octet rule, either by giving electrons or by taking electrons. Is it not? Until it becomes 8. So, and when it becomes 8, it resembles the inert gases. They will be satisfied. Okay. So, how to decide valency? Valency of an element is number of valence electrons. If it is 4 or lesser than up to 4, you can take it as valency of that element. For example, valency of hydrogen is 1, oxygen is 2, nitrogen is 3, carbon is 4, that is the maximum. Of course, there may be some special case that of phosphorus has 3 and 5 and sulfur has 2, 4, 6, very special case. So, if it is 4 or lesser than that, that is taken as the valency. Suppose if it is more than 4, then what you must do? 8 minus number of valence electrons. For example, if you take chlorine, outermost shell has 8 electrons. So, what you must do? 7 electrons. What you must do? 8 minus 7, that is 1. We say valency of chlorine is 1. 8 minus number of valence electrons. 8 minus 7, that is 1. Okay. Like that we can list out all the valencies of different elements. So, this is a beautiful list of 1 to 18 elements. You have to write down or copy down this. Hydrogen, for example, symbol is H, atomic number is 1, means number of protons is 1, electrons is 1, no neutrons. The only one element without neutrons is hydrogen. And this electron configuration is K shell 1, valency is 1. Helium, valency is 0 because it is inert gas. It has got only one K shell that is filled up. Then comes lithium, its valency is 1 because outermost contains 1 electron. Then comes beryllium, its valency is 2 because outermost is 2. Boron, its valency is 3 because outermost is 3. Carbon, outermost is 4, therefore 4. Then you have nitrogen, outermost is 5. 5 means 8 minus 5. 8 minus 5, that is 3. Oxygen, outermost is 6. 8 minus 6, 2. Fluorine, 8 minus 7, 1. So this is a beautiful chart to show the valencies, and this is what is called as electronic configuration. Here you see the first shell will be always 2, maximum is 2, and second will be maximum is 8. Okay, in case of hydrogen there only 1 is there, therefore you are at only 1. That is how the electrons are distributed. We will see some more here. Neon, it is the inert gas. Outermost is 8, therefore 8 minus 8 is 0, valency is 0. Neither gives out electron nor takes electron. There will be some boys or girls, no, they will never share anything with others. Neither they take from others also, somewhat reserved. That nature is not good, okay. Sodium, atomic number 11, outermost is 1, so valency is also 1. There are 3 shells, you must note, K, L, M. K is filled up with 2 electrons, L is filled up with 8 electrons. 1 remains, that one will be third shell, and hence valency is 1. Magnesium is valency 2 because outermost is 2. Aluminium, outermost is 3, therefore valency is also 3. Silicon, outermost is 4 electrons, hence valency also is 4. Phosphorus, outermost is 5, therefore valency is 3, and there is some special cases wherein it will be 5 also. Sulfur, outermost is 6, so 8 minus 6, that is 2. Chlorine, 2, 8, 7, so 8 minus 7, that is 1. Lastly, argon, 2, 8, 8, that is inert gas, a noble gas, so its valency is 0 because it has sufficient number of electrons in the outermost orbit, and that's why it is 0, okay. So this is the distribution of electrons in the different shells, okay. Now we will see some applications, means what is the use of all these things, about valencies, what is the electronic configuration, what are the use. First one, electronic configuration is used in understanding the periodic arrangement of elements. There will be what is called as periodic table. The periodic table that is based on this electronic configuration, and also we can know the place of different elements in the different groups and periods. Secondly, studying the nature of bonding between the various elements. Bonding means there are 2 types mainly. One is called ionic bond, electrovalent bond, and this is covalent bond, which I are going to study next. So that type of bond also can be studied by the electronic configuration. By forming bond, what happens? There will be what is called by octet rule, outermost electron will have 8 electrons, okay. Now we will see some home assignments. Write the electronic configuration of element having atomic number 17. How will you find the valency of chlorine? 17, sulfur 16, and magnesium 12. You must write K shell how much, L how much, M how much, okay. What is a shell? how many electrons can be accommodated in a shell, in M shell? Using a formula 2n square. So, lastly, state the rules of writing the electronic configuration of elements. There are 5 rules that you must state. Okay, come prepared. Wish you all best of luck. Thank you.